from Mozambique. Now, Énio, I'm doing my master at University of Pretoria, and my topic is basically my proposal is about the techno-typological analysis of middle to later Stone Age at Daimane Rock Shelter, Maputo province. I'm gonna present a sort of a methodological approach regarding to how I'll be able to do the analysis in Daimane Rock Shelter. The project is part of Sweden's support via Biocultural Heritage Project. Is led in Mozambique is led by Desi Muyanga, and then I also have support of Uppsala University, Edward Mondlane, Kaleidoscopy, and the PAS, all from one. My supervisor is Dr. Tim Postman. What I'm going to present here is sort of methodological approach, telling us how we can also see about the methodological approach when we want to do technological analysis during the period of transition. Here I present the outlines. First of all, I would like to say that in Southern Africa, when we talk about the transition to MSA to eLSA, is very enigmatic and also problematic when we talk about the dates and understanding the different periods, because it's very difficult to understand how is that it happens. But in Mozambique, we also have a few studies regarding to the Middle Stone Age or later Stone Age transition. One example of study we have in Mozambique is only in China site in Gaza province. The study carried out by Nuno Bicho, a Portuguese archaeologist, and also Musa Raja from Mozambique. They find a very interesting thing there, but we don't have many research regarding to this transitional period in Mozambique. And in this project, we intend to understand better, because in the Daimane Rock Shelter, we also have a very, very interesting framework in terms of strata with different layers. For example, in Daimane Rock Shelter, we can also find layers containing assemblage from Middle Stone Age, Later Stone Age, and Early Farming community, and sort of historical periods, which is make us also interesting or interested to understand what really happened in Daimane during the old period. Just to say that we're still doing research to understand all the different periods. My aims now is only to understand the sort of transitional period which I mentioned before. Looking at the archaeological background, we can see that in Mozambique, we don't have a lot of stuff regarding to Stone Age, comparing to Lesotho, South Africa, Namibia, Eswatini, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. But now it's a challenge for us to understand what happened, especially in south of Mozambique, because it's a little bit close with the different sites where many of research carried out in the days in South Africa. So I would like to present the table containing the different sites in South Africa, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, that the scholars find different evidence. They try to describe and then show us the data and the assemblage, how the assemblage looks like. So on top, in my right, you can see the final Middle Stone Age and different sites in South Africa, well dated, and also with the assemblage. And my left can see the different sites again in South Africa. That's why I said before, I will use sort of comparative approach to understand what the researcher did in different sites in Southern Africa, especially in the country what I mentioned before. Yeah, my research motivation and hypothesis. The first thing I would like to say here is what we want to understand is just to use the data what we have in Daimane Rock Shelter to test the hypothesis that development of lithic institute of Middle Stone Age to later Stone Age emerged has responded to increasingly cold the climate between 40 to 20 years ago. Wherever the project will observe the different technique of productions of tools during the period and trying to investigate if there are sort of continuity and what it was happened during the period I mentioned. Especially, we want to understand what are the technological attributes of the final MSA and the eLSA assemblage that the Daimane looks like, and also if there is a irregular Stone Age assemblage on the site. If not, what are the data can show us in terms of artifacts. The first question is like, how does the Daimane assemblage compare to other in Southern Africa? Notably, I would like to say something about the border cave, which is not far from Daimane Rock Shelter. The aims is just, the first one is that to excavate Daimane 2, because many researchers are excavating in Daimane 1. Let's say that Daimane has different parts, which we give some names, which is Daimane 1, 2, and 3. Excavation what we conduct will be at Daimane 2, just to test the different layers containing the Middle Stone Age assemblage, where Adamovich in 1982 tried to identify it, and then say that we can also find very interesting thing to interpret or also say something about this wonderful period. And the second aim is to extract the charcoal sample from cave strata for radiocarbon dating to understand and then to see when it happens. The third one is make sort of chain operatoire and the techno-typological analysis of the stone tools assemblage for the site. And the fourth one is what I want to introduce as young researcher in Southern Africa. I will tell you later. It's about discussing the agents of things. Let me present you Daimane Rock Shelter. It's still in south of Mozambique. It is in the border of Mozambique and Eswatini. It's very close to the border of Goba Frontera, which is very close to Shangalane district. You can see the main view of Daimane Rock Shelter, and also see the different archaeological research conducted at the site between 1982 until 2012. First, Daimane was mentioned in the literature by Bente Dias during the colonial times in Mozambique, where he found ceramics, artifacts, fossils, shelter, animal bones, and stone tools in the shelter. In the early 1980s, João Moraes did some excavation there. 1982 by Leonard Adamovich and Dave Johnson with aim to assessing future potential of investigation in southern Mozambique, which made me get involved to have a sort of curiosity to start the site, because the report that came produced was very interesting, because you can also find different things which is important to understand the site. In 2007, the shelter was excavated by Kjell and Kim Danmark, who came from Sweden as at Uppsala University, and then they tried to analyze different form, but the problem is we don't have access to the preliminary result. And 2011, Peter Seelen did some research there. And 2010 and 12, Marjana Potamai was in Daimane, did She did sort of study relating to the transition from eLSA to the early family communities, not exactly. What we can see here is many scholars is that many scholars at the site, but they didn't pay attention about the transition, what I'm interested in. Here you can see the assemblage for the previous excavation, the layers, the plan of the site, and also the dates. And then here it's very difficult to understand exactly where is the transition happening in terms of layers, because it's very difficult, as you can see here. But what I'm gonna do in terms of methodological approach is just to follow the radiocarbon dating, the material analysis using different form, which is very common in archaeology. I will conduct geological analysis, morphological analysis to understand the attribute, the techno-typological analysis, and also statistics. But now I'll just introduce the chain operator. Us as archaeologists, we know what happened in terms of acquisition, or all the process regarding the chain operator. But what I want to introduce, it's not news, but I think it's very important for us as archaeologists to think about anthropology of archaeology, is what I'm gonna present now, the agents of things. I'm trying to follow the different approach of Bruno Latour's to understand the intersubjectivity, the mind, culture, and activity, to understand, because all the times we try to say, okay, we have to do sort of comparison of the site in South Africa, but I have to leave a bit when I'm doing I will be able to do the analysis to understand the agents of things, the relation between human and non-human things. That sort of combination of both, not only saying that, okay, I have to follow the traditional methods when we start in archaeology. And here we also have something interesting, what Annelies defends. Annelies Ekblom is a lecturer at the Department of Archaeology and Asian History at Uppsala University. She divided it twice, like the scientific approach, where you can see that the culture is viewed as studied as an essential object. The material culture is a reflection of the culture. But what I want to introduce now is the second thing. The culture is seen as the exclusive. It is a non-essential category. The material culture is a part of negotiation of a culture, just to understand in the different ways. But I also have a sort of research limitation. And then one of the research limitation is, the main limitation is the start of the stratigraphic in terms of understand where I will find the transition period in order to analyze the relationship between the MSA and eLSA assemblage. And also the problem, because I can also do nothing with the excavations assemblage, because I don't know exactly where exactly I should find it. Just to finalize the final remarks, the point is, I'm sure that the transition do not occur in the same period, but I know that in Daimane Rock Shelter, they are so rich in terms of finding. Many of reports show that. And also is very important because you can find well-dated in identifiable strata with data material. And something important, I think that is nice here, is the study will contribute to our understanding of the local stone age sequence by applying new or alternative research methods to better understand the chronological and technological sequence concerning this time. And also, it will be very important because maybe we can also see what happened during the Pleistocene when the Andes and the Gathers adopted the strategies to survive by producing a high standard toolkit, which is important because we don't have information about Mozambique, especially in Stone Age, which will provide a great insight into Mozambique, mostly ignored Stone Age sequence. And thank you for your attention. You can see the bibliography. Thank you so much.